Hello everyone, welcome to another video in our Framer crash course for absolute beginners. In this video, we are going to be continuing from where we stopped the last time in building our landing page. So before that, I just want to change this color to a dark color, and then I want to explain in depth what frames and stack means. So I'm just going to click on our desktop canvas and then hit T, then click on it, and I can just type hello world again. Then I'm going to increase this font and change the color to maybe white. So I want to explain what a frame means and what a stack means. Now this desktop canvas is a frame because it's not yet set to a stack. Now to set this to a stack, we can click on layout right here. You can see now this hello world text has been automatically positioned to a particular place. Now setting this as a layout, you can either give it a stack or a grid. Stacks arranges your elements in a vertical or horizontal order, while grids arranges your elements in order of rows or columns. Now I'm going to duplicate this hello world with Ctrl D just to show you what this distribute section means. Now if we set it as start, our elements will be arranged from the beginning of this stack, which is set to a vertical arrangement. If we set it to center, our elements are distributed to the center of this stack. If we set it to end, it will be distributed at the end of the stack. If we set it to space between, that means there will be a space between the elements. If we set it to space around, that means there will be space around the elements. That is, there's space right here, and there's space right here, and there's space right here. If we set to space evenly, then the space between all the elements will be even. So you can see that the space here is the same thing with the one that is here and the one that is also here. So that's what it means. Now we can align our elements either to the left, to the middle, or to the right. Now for the wrap, if I set the direction to horizontal, you can see that the elements are just left to be sucked in right here. But if I set it the wrap to yes, that means it will come down here. So that's what the wrap means. And this gap means the space between our elements. Now if I turn these two elements into a stack, I can do that by selecting this element and holding our control key on our keyboard and selecting this other element also, and then still holding my control key, I'll press alt and enter. So that is control alt and enter. So now I want to show you what this gap means. If I click on the stack right here on our layers and then come right here, now I can increase the gap between these two elements. That's what we mean by the gap. Now moving to the padding, this is just a space between our stack. So we're going to be using padding a lot during our design process. So I'm just going to delete this stack. So I'm just going to input a navigation from Framer. So I'm going to just drag and drop it here. Our desktop layout right here was set to, I think, okay, direction was set to horizontal. Let's set it back to vertical. So now it has moved back up. And then I'm just going to remove the color from this. Don't worry, I'm still going to talk about what this means. This is just a component. So I'm going to remove the color from this color. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about next is the best practice for our desktop layout. So now I'm clicking on my desktop. You can see that this direction is set to vertical. Our distribution should be set to start, and then our alignment can be in the center. Then our wrap can be set to either yes or no. So our width should be set to this 1200 pixels since we are working on 1200 pixels breakpoints. And then our height should be set to fit content. So it's going to continue to fit our content whenever we add more content to it. So this is just the best practice for building a fully functional website. I'm just going to come here and then copy this. So don't worry, we're going to still build this navigation menu, but I want to start from the simple to the complex. So I'm going to copy this and then come right here. So I'm going to hit T outside of our canvas, then click, then paste this, can bring it here. I'm going to also take this our paragraph, copy it, just going to duplicate this with Ctrl D. So I'm going to move here and then paste. Then I'm going to set this as our heading 1. It's already set there, and then I'm going to set this as our paragraph. So I'm going to click on our H1 while holding my control key and our paragraph, and I'm just going to turn this to a stack. I hope you remember how to turn element to a stack, which is Control Alt Enter. So now we have turned this to a stack. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make this width. You can leave it as fixed for now, and then the height should be set to fit content. The alignment should be set to left. So what I'm going to do next is to set each of our elements to a fill width. So I'm just going to click on our H1, set it to fill. So this means that it's going to fill this stack that is right here. This is his immediate parent stack. So this is what is going to fill right here. I'm going to set this to fill. I'm going to set our paragraph also to fill. So as I've said before, you always need to set our element almost every time to fill and fit. This one too is also fill and fit. That is fill width and fit height. So I'm just going to click our stack and then drag it into our desktop. I'm going to drag and drop. Now it's not yet responsive. Can you guess why? Because we have to set this to fill. I'm just going to set this to fill, and now so you can see now that our website is responsive. So as you can see here, the next thing to do is to add our buttons. So I'm just going to zoom in, and then our two buttons are view plans and learn more. So I'm going to come back here and then hit T on our keyboard. I'm just going to type view plans. So I'm going to reduce this font to 16. So now I'm going to turn this to a stack. To turn into a stack, Control Alt Enter. Now for buttons, we can set our width and height to fit content. So I'm going to set this to fit and then set this to fit. So I'm going to give it I'm going to give it a padding of 16 all through. So I'm going to the color change the color to our color here. So let me just check it out. So I'm still going to go deep into components while explaining how to design our buttons. So I'm going to click on this and then know the radius. The radius is 12. I'm going to click here, click on stack, and then we can give it a radius. Our radius is just the roundness of our element. Let me just put it like that. So we are set. Now to turn our element into a component, I'm just going to hit Ctrl Alt K, and then we're going to give this a title. You can give it a title of buttons. Now, components help us to be able to use our element over and over again. So if I'm going to use this button again, I don't need to be copying and pasting it all over my website. I'm just going to fetch the component and then add it to wherever I need it to be. So our components can be divided into variants. If I click here now, we already have another variant. So we can actually, just like the breakpoints, whatever is here will be pushed over to this place here, except if we change the design and content here. So for these view plans here, we can add a hover state or a press state. So we will mostly use hover states for buttons. Now I'm going to check how the hover state is here. So I think there's no changes for the hover state. For the secondary button, the design was changed. Now I'm going to remove the fill color from this. I'm going to remove the fill color and give it a border. I think a border was given here. The border is solid 1. So I'm going to give this a border with this color, and the border is just the border around this our element, and the width is 1. So for the hover, just change the color of the text. I'm going to click on this, click on hover, and then change the color of the text right here to this color. Now we need to have another variant here. So this is view plans, and you just want to click here, and then mind you, whenever we click on a variant and use it to add another variant, is what is here that is going to be shifted to this other variant right here. For instance, now if I click on this variant right here and then add another variant, you can see that it's what is in variant 1 that was brought to variant 4. So I'm going to just remove the border and the padding right here. I'm going to remove it also. So this is view plans, and then I'm going to make it a hover state and then change the color. I'm going to change the color to this particular color right here. So this is what we mean by using components. We're going to be using much of components further in our videos. So I'm going to come back here and then duplicate this button. Now this button now is a component. So I'm going to hit Ctrl D on my keyboard. If we click on this button right here and we scroll down here, you can see that we have variant 1 and variant 2. So I'm just going to click on variant 2 to fetch the variant 2 from our component. Now I'm going to click on this button while holding our shift key and click on the other button, and then still press Ctrl Alt Enter to create a stack. You can leave the width as fixed, and then the height should be fit content. Our distribute should be from start. So we can now take this stack into this stack right here. So I'm going to click on the stack and then drag and drop it into the stack. Now I'm going to make the width of the stack to be filled. So the next thing to do now is to add our logos. Now this logo now is using a ticker. A ticker helps us to move elements horizontally or vertically in our website. So I'm just going to check where the elements are. Now I'm just going to copy these logos and paste it outside of our canvas. I'm going to paste it and then move it right here. Now what I'm going to do next is to add a ticker into our canvas. Then I'm going to go to interactive and then add a ticker. So from here I'm just going to move this and then put it into our canvas. Then I'm going to set this ticker's width to fill. I'm going to leave the height for now. To connect our ticker to these elements here, I'm just going to use these dots right here and then connect it to the first one, to the second one, to the third one, to the fourth one, to the fifth one, and to the sixth one. Inside this ticker, we can now increase the gaps of our element so that it can be spacious. We can also reduce the speed. We can set the speed to maybe 40%. So I'm also going to reduce the height of our ticker. I'm going to reduce the height a little bit. This is okay. So as you can see now, we now have our element in our canvas, but this is not looking good at all. So what we are going to do now is to select the elements that we want to be together and then give them a stack. I'm going to select this element while holding my control key and this element and then make it a stack. I'm going to give it a gap of maybe 16, and then I'm going to give this stack right here a gap of let's say 38, so we can now have better space in our canvas. So this stack right here is our hero section, and as you can see, there's no space by the sides. So what we can do is to make the width of this hero section to be relative. So we can give this a 90% width. You can see now we have better space right here, but we still need space at the top of our hero section. So what I'm going to do is to add a padding of top to our hero section. I'm just going to click here and then give it a padding top of, let's say, 100. So now our landing page is looking much more better. So I'm going to check the gap of our two elements right here. So we have a gap of 16. So I'm going to give it a gap of 16. So the next thing we're going to do is to add this blur to our website. I can either copy it and paste here, but I want to show you how to create a blur by yourself. So what I'm going to do is to create a frame right here, and I'm going to hit F on my keyboard. I'm going to drag and drop. So I'm going to give this a linear gradient. I'm going to come here and then from the top I will give it to this color, the bottom this color, and we're going to reduce the opacity of the color to maybe 40 something, maybe 41. And I'm going to give this frame a blur. So to give it a blur, I'm going to click on styles, go to filter and then give it blur. So the blur, I'm going to give it like 100% blur. I'm going to increase the size. I'm going to reduce this, and then now what I'm going to do is to take this frame and drag it into our desktop. So now you can see that it is being arranged accordingly in our desktop because our desktop is a stack. Now what I'm going to do is to change this from relative position to absolute position. I'm going to click on this and then turn it to absolute position, and then I'm going to increase this a little bit and bring it right here. I think this is okay. So I'm going to reduce the opacity of this blur. I'm going to come here where it says opacity. I'm just going to give it the opacity of maybe 0.5. You can see now that we are having a better look right here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to also give this our hero section a border bottom of 100. So we can preview this. And see now we have a nice hero section right here. So I'm going to go back to our canvas. So it is very important to name your layers in case you are going to be sending it to a client or you are going to be sending it as a template. In fact, Framer won't accept your template until you name your layers. So what I'm going to do is just to double click where it says stack right here. As you all know, this is our hero section. So I'm just going to give it a name of section with a dash and then give it hero. So this is our text. So I'm going to just give it hero. So I'm going to add a dash here. Hero text. I'm going to rename this as our buttons. Hero buttons. And this frame should be named as our blur. And there was something I was supposed to talk about is blur. Once an element that was set to relative is being set to absolute, we are going to automatically have a z index of 1, which might also affect the other elements around it. So what I'm going to do is, just for precaution's sake, I'm going to give this also a z index of a higher figure, or we can set this z index to 0 and set this particular z index to maybe 1. I'm going to click on styles and then scroll down to z index and then give this a z index of 1. So that will be all for this video. See you in the next one.